Boom, good to go. What's up, guys? Super stoked about this because I now finally have a microphone so I can actually fucking vlog and not have wind noise just smacking me in the face over and over again. And even when I try and talk, you can't hear me. So super stoked about this. Super stoked to get, provide some content around the Ninja 400. The main purpose of this video is to obviously talk about the Ninja 400. When I was looking at bikes, I really didn't know what to get. I was looking at naked bikes, looking at cruisers, looking at sport bikes. I was a little nervous because I didn't want to get something that was too powerful and therefore scare myself out of riding or just scare myself in general, because then I really wouldn't pursue riding. That's kind of my personality, I guess, for lack of a better word. But yeah, so I picked the Ninja 400 because I knew it wouldn't make too much power, and I could really learn the fundamentals of riding and just kind of have fun. I was also looking at the Z400, the naked version, but what was cool about this is that this does have 2-inch risers. It does have clip-ons, but it has 2-inch risers, so the seating position is a little bit more upright. The pegs aren't too high back, so the seating position is slightly hunched over, and because of that, it does make it more comfortable, and you get all the looks of a sport bike. I mean, people would say that this bike is polarizing in the way it looks, but I think it looks phenomenal. I think the front end looks great. Coming with LED lighting was awesome. You can see great at night. But a lot of people don't like these mirrors. I think you can see perfectly out of these mirrors. I do like these mirrors. It is currently 2021, and they had the 2021 model year, but they didn't have this color for 2021, so that's why I picked this one. So this is the 2020 Ninja 400. I think it looks great. One of my favorite things, I'll go on the other side where the lighting's a little bit better, is this Ninja, how it's kind of like ghosted on. It almost looks custom. I'm gonna try and get a good angle on it. Yeah, it almost looks custom the way it's written or the way it's painted. I think it looks awesome. Probably one of my favorite things about the bike. Even just these little light blue accents, you can call it gray, light blue, but even these little accents, super awesome. I did get the ABS version just in case. I think, at least for me personally, I think when you're doing a lot of street riding, ABS is important, just in case you are in an emergency situation. You'll be grateful you have it versus not having it. So I did get the ABS version. I think it makes it like $300 more. So brand new, this bike is $5,300. I think that's awesome if you think about it. I don't know. Obviously, there are other bikes out there that you can get for that kind of money. Can you get bikes that look this good for that kind of money? I really don't think so. So that was also another, kind of turn on for me as to why I got the bike. So I'm gonna go for a ride here and just kind of talk about the bike. See, you can talk about its features, what I like about it. I really haven't found much that I don't like about it, but I've only ever really ridden this. I did the MSF course. You're on little 250s. I did ride a buddy of mine. He has a 675, a Daytona, but that's a super sport, and I really didn't know how to ride, so it's not even fair for me to review it. At that time, I still didn't know how to, grip the tank with my legs, engage the core so that you don't have all that weight on your wrists. So it wouldn't be fair to review something like that. So yeah, we're gonna go for a ride, and we'll talk about the bike and get into it. Alright guys, so we're just going to get into the ride. I have this normal route that I've been taking. It's basically, has a lot of, right along the water. I think it's an awesome view. For me personally, I find riding to be extremely therapeutic. I will go on a ride to simply go nowhere. I'll go in a big circle, turn around and come back. Like, it doesn't matter to me where I'm riding. It's also funny, me and my wife could be going to a store together where we're both going to the same store, and she'll ride in the car and I'll ride on the bike, just because, again, I'll look for any excuse to ride the bike, which is cool. So yeah, my first impressions of this bike, I loved it as soon as I got on it. It's super comfortable. Like immediately, right away, hey, oh, hey. I hate it when people come to stop signs and they keep rolling. I use their front tire to gauge whether they're going to be going or not, and when they just slow roll, you can't tell if they're going to jump out or not. That kind of triggers me. So in that situation, I always cover up on the brake. I always cover up so that I'm ready to stop if I need to, because you never know what people are going to do. Let me put this. Okay. So yeah. Anyway. So yeah, I'll take any opportunity to go riding. Yeah, man, the bike is so casual. It's not this committed thing. You know, I have been looking at, it's funny, you get used to power really quickly, especially if you were like ever into cars or into stuff like that. So I get comfortable with power relatively quickly. So I'm already looking at other bikes. I'm looking at the ZX6R just because it's an awesome bike. It also looks like this bike, the 2019 and up, which I do love about that. I think people give the ZX6R a little bit of shit because it looks like the Ninja 400, but that's not a bad thing, in my opinion. I don't think that's a bad thing at all. Oh, a little jigsaw. It's super windy out here today. I would assume the mic is going to pick it up, but we'll see what it sounds like when we're done riding. Super windy. Anyway, so yeah, I take this route all the time. I got this bike maybe 6 weeks ago, and it already has 1,900 miles on it. I would say that is a lot of riding, and I've just been, you know, doing this route. It takes about an hour and a half. I'm not going to record an hour and a half, but I've been taking this route almost every day, and yeah, just getting familiar with the bike, getting familiar with riding, and it's just awesome. But being on two wheels is one of the best experiences you can have, especially if you're into kind of like motorsports or cars or anything like that. It's obviously nothing like riding a car, but it's awesome, and I'm a big fan of it, and I'm only going to continue to do it. I can see myself riding for the rest of my life. So yeah, anyway, so yeah, I wanted to talk a little bit more about the bike, you know, how it is to ride it. What I do like about sport bikes in general is basically how easy they are to ride. Obviously, you know, the clip-ons are polarizing. Some people like them, some people don't. I particularly like them. In my opinion, you know, this bike just does what I want it to do. It doesn't really require that much input. You know, you look where you want to go, and the bike goes. Obviously, it's a little bit more than that. Obviously, there is some counter steering involved. But even just how nimble it is, this thing it's 380 pounds wet. It's just a breeze. It's so light that it makes it easy to ride. Now, on the downside, for a bike being really light, you know, when you get on the highway, or if you're cruising at faster speeds, that does make things a little bit more difficult because you're lighter. You know, today is windy. I'll probably get blown around a little bit. I'm not the heaviest person. I weigh about 170. You know, I do get blown around a bit if I'm cruising at highway speeds. Here in Florida, you know, on the highways, the speed limit's 70. So, yeah, you know, going 70, 75 on the highway, I'm getting blown around a bit. So, with that in mind, I do think the Ninja 400 is more aimed at city riding and riding around town, which is basically what I do. I really don't take the bike far. I think I would need something different if I was going to go, you know, quote-unquote tour on this bike. So I don't do that kind of riding. I keep it super casual, ride around town, just like what I'm doing now. You know, I'll zip light to light here and there. It's got pep. It's a good time. I would say what up to him, but I'm mid-turn, so I'm not going to do that. I don't know if the mic, wow. I don't know if the bike is loud through the microphone. I did put a Leo Vinci carbon slip-on here, which is awesome. It did make the bike louder. You know, you could say loud pipes save lives. You know, there's arguments 2 and 4, or 2, you know, for and against that topic, but I just think it sounded better. The stock exhaust is very quiet. It's very typewriter-esque. An angry typewriter. A lot of bikes sound like that with stock exhaust, so I did put the Leo Vinci slip on, and I think it sounds good. You know, it also, as you start to get higher in the revs, I don't know, when you ride cars, or if you've ever modified cars before, when cars get loud, you expect it to go faster. It's more of like an audible thing. Like when you hear something revving up, you assume that you're going to go faster. So I you know, with that in mind, I very much like having a slip-on, having exhaust, which is cool. I'll probably just scoot in here behind this guy. I wanted to get in front of these people so I can kind of ride a little bit more at a brisk pace, but I guess that's not happening. Yeah, anyway, so yeah, the bike is mainly meant for city riding. Again, I'm not even going that fast. I guarantee I will get blown around a little bit, you know, while I'm out there, especially along the water. The temperature drops a little bit. It does get a little bit more windy. So yeah, I expect to get blown around a little bit out here today, which is fine. You know, as you start to ride more, you get yourself into more undesirable situations where conditions aren't perfect. Obviously, in a perfect world, sun's out, no wind, just a nice temperature, 72, 73. It's February, so that's the normal temperature here. But yeah, on a day like today, it is a bit windy, so it is what it is. I've had situations where I'm riding in the rain, that shit sucks. I've had situations where I'm riding in the cold, that shit sucks. Not ideal. I think it's important to have different types of gear if you're going to be doing riding in undesirable situations or conditions. But yeah, anyway, so yeah, the feel of the bike, it does have, because it's a parallel twin and you do need to rev it out to get going. I would say the bike has a decent amount of vibrations in it. You know, I do feel it in my hands, I do feel it in my feet. If I'm riding for like over an hour afterwards, I do feel my hand like buzzing a little bit. You want to go? Let's see if we can go a little fast. Woo! Love that. So yeah, when you do rev it out, obviously all through that, you feel the vibrations, and it's fine. It doesn't bother me. It might bother some people depending on what you're used to or what you like, but I really don't care. This bike is incredibly fun. Because that's another reason why I picked the Ninja 400. I didn't want to have to worry about yeeting myself into infinity, as they say, because I gave too much throttle. You can still do that in lower gears. You can still yeet yourself and get jerky with the throttle, but because it's what, 43 horsepower, around 20 foot-pounds of torque, you really can't get yourself into too much trouble. And that was really important for me when I was starting to ride. I just didn't, and that's why I got a Ninja 400. I was looking at 650 class bikes. You know, do I slightly regret it? Yeah. I would kind of wish I would have got a probably, I would be happier for a little bit longer. The reality is, I think, again, you get used to power, and no matter what, you're always going to want more, at least for someone like me. So I probably would have bought myself a little bit more time, but even again, now I'm already looking at other bikes, so it is what it is. Part of the journey, I guess. What I didn't want to do was skip the beginner class bike, even though you can argue that the 650 class bike is a beginner class bike. I didn't want to skip a quote-unquote, you know, the 300, 400 class bike and sell myself short from learning how to ride properly, you know, because you can't, obviously you can get into trouble in any motorcycle. They're lighter than cars, they can boogie, but a 300, 400 class bike, you will get yourself into less trouble. We'll say what up to people. Love saying what up to everybody. So yeah, boom, nimble AF. Let's go, baby.
if you can tell from that run, it takes a little bit, you know. It's a parallel twin. It's a 400cc parallel twin. Okay. Parallel twins are known to be torquey, but they don't have as much top end. You know, inversely, inline four cylinders, which are super sports, are known to have more top end because they're bigger motor, but less lower end because it needs to, you know, more cylinders. It needs to start generating that force and creating that power. Then the middles are triples, like the Triumph or the MT-09, which is a triple, and that kind of blends both. You got low down grunt, but you also got a little bit more high end because it's a triple. So yeah, I'll try it. Well, I can't really slow down, but from a dig or from a stop, the 400 moves quickly. You know, the lower gears, it has more. You know, you feel that torque. But top end, like starting to get going, that was what, 50, that was probably going 50 to 100. I'm probably gonna pass this guy. Yeah, the first one was probably 50 to 100. It takes a little bit. It's not, it doesn't just go. It's not a super sport. Not a super sport.